Talking with your friends in the school cafeteria is always something to look forward to.
On the Lunchbox Reaction podcast, a teen, a tween, and an adult host a weekly discussion on all things pop culture that appeal to the YA crowd.
Whether it's the new streaming TV show, a graphic novel from the library, or that great game everyone is playing, we'll talk about it on Lunchbox Reaction, and we'll try to have a little fun along the way.
Listen to us on Apple Podcast or Spotify, and like and subscribe so you never miss an episode.
Lunchbox Reaction. It's like talking with your friends and no food fights.
This is Rangercast, episode 23, an interview with Bakery Sentai Pond Ranger. Hey everybody, Tyler here. We got a really cool interview coming up. We've been really excited to bring you for a while. We were just, waiting for the right time. But first, we got some news to get through. First, just after we recorded, like a couple days after we recorded the last episode, the SAG-AFTRA strike came to an end, a tentative end, with a deal reached between the negotiating community and the AMPTP. It addresses things like the use of AI and streaming, but there's some opposition, particularly in the voice acting community, that the provisions on artificial intelligence don't go far enough. That AI under the deal could be used to not just adjust lip flaps in anime or live action, but also to make it seem like, for example, the actors in Squid Game, like they're natively speaking English. You might have seen ads on YouTube or TikTok for gimmicky apps like that will make you sound like you're natively speaking Spanish or whatever. That sort of thing. And that's something that voice actors are really concerned about. Also the fact that this can be made kind of a condition of agreeing to sign on to something. And that's not cool. In other news, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, and Turbo Blu-rays are going out of print. According to Shout Studios. They've been out there for like 4.5, 5 years. So if you haven't gotten them, I highly recommend you do, because given the ownership situation of those movies, the fact that they don't follow the property necessarily, the distribution rights are still owned by 20th Century Studios now, and therefore Disney, those are going to be probably going back into the vault for a while. And given the unique arrangement that allowed these Blu-rays to come out, I highly doubt that we're going to see a release of this high quality for some time, if not ever. So definitely get on that. Now, Shout did have a flash sale on all their martial arts stuff, including Power Rangers. That ended November 19th. So hopefully you heard about this through our Facebook page and you're already squared away. But if you're not, get on that as soon as you can. So yeah, they go out of print end of the month. That doesn't mean you won't be able to find them anywhere. Like somebody will probably still be selling them on eBay or something, but they're going to be a lot harder to find. Also, our friends at Tokusatsu, I say friends, I don't really know them. I know some of them, I guess, are running a Thanksgiving thing where from the 20th, which is today, to the 27th, they're going to be handing the mic over to a different creator in the community each day. Kyle Anderson, Monster Island Buddies, Ranger Board, Jeff Gomez, Toku Nation, Daniel Van Thomas, Phil Sostak, and our friend Mike Dent. I talked to him. He's really excited. You can go back and listen to our interview with him some months back, but he's really excited to do this. There are some things they wouldn't let him get away with, and things they couldn't show, that sort of thing. But the goal is that each community creator is going to share the toku that they are thankful for this Thanksgiving. And I think that is real, real cool. Also, we had talked about this last episode, but the Kickstarter for The Return is finally up. They have exceeded their goal. They've gone to kind of stretch goal territories with it. As of the time I'm recording this, which is Saturday, November 18th, we're going to drop this episode on the 20th. It has raised nearly $350,000 against a goal of $50,000. Now, keep in mind that this was going to come out either way. This is kind of how Boom does pre-orders, because it's not something they're normally set up to do. The backer packages include a soft cover with an exclusive cover, the hard cover with that same cover, as well as bundles with the pink soft cover set. Exclusive variant covers, which are really cool. They feature all 6 of the Mighty Morphin Rangers. These are things that are only available through the Kickstarter, by the way. and you start getting up into the more expensive stuff, and there are actually people who are willing to pay upwards of $150, $200, whatever dollars for these sets. And the highest value reward package is the Boom Elite Pink Power Box set. It includes a limited edition bookplate signed by Amy Jo Johnson and Matt Hodson. It includes the Return 1 through 4, including a 9.8 graded version of the first issue, as well as full foil variants of the Pink series, the Elite Pink full foil variants, plus a mystery 9.8 graded Power Rangers comic and the Boom Elite sketch cover for issue number 1, remarked by the artist. Also includes all the items in the previous tiers, along with the AR enhanced enamel pin they're giving to all the early backers and is available as an add-on. Upgraded to the Elite version, and the script book will come signed by Amy Jo Johnson and Matt Hodson. All Boom direct. So that's plus shipping if necessary. I don't think there's shipping to the U.S. There's shipping costs, I should say, to the U.S. But all that will run you $1,100. So, but that's really cool. Check it out. That Kickstarter runs through December 12th, 2023, at which point all the backers will be charged, and it, again, is supposed to hit shelves in February. I'm not sure whether backers will get it earlier than that. You would have to double check. Also, Anime NJ is coming up. I should let you know that I've just been approved for a panel there on the history of Tokusatsu. That is going to be on the Friday afternoon. So come over there, check me out. But you're probably going to be more there for Koichi Sakamoto and Johnny Young Bosch, who will be among the guests. Johnny, of course, does a lot of cons. Koichi, I believe the last con that he actually was, really at was Power Morphicon back in 2007, the first one. And finally, some housekeeping. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, review us on Apple Podcasts. It is a critical way to get us more ears. And we've also got Anime NJ coming up. And I'm going to level with you. That isn't cheap. Got to get up there. Got to pay for an Airbnb. Got to get new equipment. And I'm going to be, kind of honest. This is, not the best time. So if there's a donate button in the show notes. So if you click that and, if you like what you're hearing, give what you can. And if you think that our audio quality could be better, also, give what you can. Because there's some equipment that I'm looking into that would be useful, not just for the interview that we are seeking to do at Anime NJ, but also going forward, it would help make this podcast sound just a little bit better. So anyway, on to our interview. We've got with us Pon, the face, voice, pen, etc. behind the idol project Bakery Sentai Pon Ranger. They've got a new song coming out. It's called Guardian. It's out now, on Spotify and YouTube, other places. We're going to throw the link in the show notes. We talked to them back in September, around the time we did our previous interview with the director of Metal Force. So we've been sitting on this for a while, kind of by design, because I kind of wanted to wait until the song was out so I could send people to go download it. I'm really excited for you to listen to this, and I do wish you all a happy Thanksgiving, a happy and restful holiday, and we will see you next time. And now I'm going to throw it to September. Tyler, have a good one. I'm here with Pon, the face, voice, and pen behind Bakery Sentai Pon Ranger, a Tokusatsu-themed idol project that's been in action since 2021. Pon draws their inspiration from vintage Tokusatsu, and they've spent the summer on the con circuit. You may have seen them as I did at Otakon in Washington, D.C., as well as at Teco, MetroCon, KatsuCon, Colossal Con East, or all the way out at SoCal Idol Fest in California. And now they're out with their first original song titled Guardian. Let's have a listen.
Through the night, I'll try again to do what could be right. Terrified of the mask I made behind my soul that's been afraid. Scream against the snow, the muffling of pure words. You'll never know. I
So, Pan, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So, first tell us, what is Bakery Sentai Pawn Ranger?
So, as you said before, it's a tokusatsu-themed overseas idol project. So I combine the performance styles of J-pop idols with the aesthetic look of tokusatsu. My biggest inspiration is Showa era stuff, and I have been a pretty active part of the overseas idol community just in like resource stuff. So I'm all over the place.
Now, explain idols for people who don't really follow that segment of the fandom.
So idol stuff is, if you're familiar with stuff like AKB48 and like Hello Project, maybe if you're a little older, you remember Morning Musume or any of their subgroups. It's just like J-pop. It's kind of hard to describe what an idol is, but an overseas idol is someone that does those activities and performs in that style, performs activities in that J-pop idol style, but they do it in their home country. And this is like a worldwide thing. It's not just in the US. There's people in Canada, people in South America, people in Central America. There's a bunch of people in Europe and the UK that do it too.
Mm-hmm. And how did all this start? What was the genesis of Pawn Ranger?
So way back when I was like in middle school or high school, there was a thing called odorite, which means like I tried to dance in Japanese. So it'd basically be like people doing dance covers of stuff. So like someone will post like a choreography online, and then a bunch of people will try to do it and post their videos online. And that was a scene that I was like involved in as like a young teenager, and I put it down for a while, and then like I got super into doing like regular music. I was like in a folk punk band at one point. We didn't release anything, but I like got super into doing music. And then I think right before the pandemic, one of my friends was like, I'm doing this dance cover group, come join me. And then we were like, okay, well, what if we started doing like our own stuff? And then she was like, oh, why don't you join this community? It's called like it was an older server called like an older Discord server called the Overseas Idol Collective. So they were like, why don't you join this? And I come to find out all these people are like incorporating like dancing, singing, J-pop music. I was also always into like anime and stuff. And I was reconnecting with like some tokusatsu that I grew up with around the time as well. So I was like, what if I combine that and the music from that and this like overseas idol thing that I found? And this was like back in like 2019-ish, and then the pandemic hit and all these cons shut down. Basically the dance group that me and my friend were in dissolved. And I was like, you know what, maybe I should pursue this and see what happens with it. So that's what brings me to now. I recorded my first cover. I was like, you know what, I'm probably going to stop doing this within like the first year. And it now 2 years later, I just did that summer tour. I'm doing original music now, and it's taken me really far. I've met a lot of cool people and gotten to make a lot of really cool art.
That's great. You said you grew up with tokusatsu shows. What sort of shows did you grow up with?
So, of course, I grew up with Power Rangers. Like,
well, I mean, like any of the Japanese shows?
Yeah, Ultraman. And like, not like necessarily Japanese, but do you remember Kaiju Big Battle? I think they're still around.
Maybe they are. I haven't like seen a show as such, but there's a really obscure documentary that they're featured in called Otaku Unite. It's kind of a time capsule of fandom at a certain point in time. It was put up by Central Park Media, which is long since gone.
Oh, yeah.
I think you can find it on YouTube, and it spends a lot of time focusing on random stuff like Kaiju Big Battle.
Oh, that's sick. Let me think what else. When I was younger, like a kid, I was super into Sailor Moon. So there's like the Sailor Moon tokusatsu show made by Toei. I think it was made by Toei.
It was never actually a thing. It was just like the reel.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like live
Overwhelmed.
action, yeah, but
Yeah. Or no, Renaissance Atlantic. Yeah. Somebody actually found the whole like thing.
oh, sick.
Yeah. Yeah. The YouTuber Ray Mona. You might want to look that up. It's
Mm.
great.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. The was it like Saban Moon thing? But there was
Right.
like a live action like tokusatsu adaptation made in like
Oh, you mean
2003.
PGSM?
Yeah, that.
Yeah. Yeah. I was getting my wires crossed. Yeah.
Let's say so there was like one subgroup when I was younger that was like doing it. I was too young to like use the internet to I'm 24 years old, but I was too young to like use the internet to buy like subtapes, but I would like look online and I'd see what was available. And recently I was like looking at like some obscure thing. There's like a subgroup called something like Cruel Angel Productions
Mm.
or something, and I was like, oh, let's see this obscure like heroine, like henshin heroine show that like came out around the same time, and then like it was subtitled by them, so it all comes full circle back to Sailor Moon, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
because that subgroup did like all like the Sailor Moon anime, they did the stage shows, they did the tokusatsu show, they subbed a bunch of stuff.
Now, explain for people who, didn't catch you over the summer what a Pond Ranger show is like.
So I incorporate a lot of audience interactive elements into my stuff. I do a lot of covers of idol music, anime music, game music, and of course like music from tokusatsu, and of course now my original stuff. But I include a lot of audience interaction. There's a thing called Wodage, and Woda is like a fan of idols, and gay just means like art. And so at my shows you'll see like a lot of people doing a thing called call and mix, so like they like chant a bunch of words. You may have heard of that.
Well, I was actually trying to speed read the call and mix guide while I was in the crowd at Otakon. And thankfully I knew most of the words to Climax Jump.
Okay, yeah. But you have people like doing like tiger, fire, cyber, diver, like they're nonsense words, but they're like to the beat of the song. So you'll hear people doing that. You'll see people breaking out super bright glow sticks. They're called ultra oranges.
I remember I didn't realize how short those things would go. But that those people who brought like that whole big bag of them at Otakon.
Oh my god. I looked over and I saw them dumping it out. I'm like, because I think they dumped out like 2 bags of it, and that's not counting like all the people that like also started dumping their own bags out.
It's like I remember when I was in Japan the first time in 2009, I was at an Anime Japan Fest concert, and there were all these like hand motions and people in the crowd were doing all that. I'm like, it's like the recycling episode of Rocko's Modern Life. I'm wondering if I missed a rehearsal.
Yeah. It's like, but it's the same thing at those shows. They also do Wodage because it's it's not just for idol music, obviously, like but like there's a bunch of stuff that I could get into, but you'll see a lot of people doing that, and they'll be doing like the hand motions, they'll be doing Sailoon dance, which is like a choreographed like set of movements, and I think you saw some people doing that, because I every show I do, I have at least like some space near the front for people to do that, because I know a lot of people that come to my shows also are part of the Sailoon dance community.
Yeah, my friend Viga practically dragged me to the front.
That's good.
So what's the most fun song you've gotten to do live?
Oh man, so it's a tie between Love.exe by Momoi Halko, which is like the song that people dumped out a bunch of glow sticks
right, yeah,
to. But that one's always really fun. Gets people really excited. And then the other one is Climax Jump. It's always fun when I get to make people run around the room. I think at my Otakon show I saw people doing lifts, which is like someone putting another person on their shoulders several times.
And you said you heard that they're outlawing those now?
Oh my god, yeah. I'm
I'm a staffer at Otakon. I haven't heard anything about that, but I didn't work idle space at all.
Yeah.
So Climax Jump, is that something that had been your set before, or just for the occasion since it was a train themed con?
It was just for the occasion. Because I was like, because I saw videos from, I think it's like another like Japan like anime music fest where they have like DJs, like Anikura type stuff, where they had some people doing Climax Jump, and I saw a video because it's like this music festival with DJs in a field, and I saw like videos from it, and like you just see people running around in circles in this field, and it's like, yep, I'm doing that. Because I was like, should I add it to the set? It fits the theme of the convention. It fits the theme of the tour. And I was like, oh yeah, that seals the deal. People have so much fun with that.
How did you settle on the bread theme for Bakery Sentai Pond Ranger?
I love bread. Always have, always will.
Oh boy. Like working staff, like I logged so many steps, I didn't think I really had any energy left in me, but it's like when that song came on, I was just totally on board with the human train.
Oh yeah. There's something about certain like Toku songs that like there's a phrase that me and my friends use. It's called makes you want to rob your own house, because it gets you like suddenly you're filled with so much hype energy that you like can't help but just vibe.
It's kind of like how I would go nearly anywhere in North America to see Jam Project.
Oh yeah.
And then those shows are great. It's euphoric, and then I realize after how much my knee hates me.
God, I've always wanted to see them live. I missed out on seeing them at Anime NYC, I think 2019.
Yeah, that was a very short set. Like only like 5 or 6 songs. But when they played at Otakon in 2017, we pretty much got the full experience, and then TMR joined them for skill, and it was awesome, and I was like front row center pretty much. It was great. Me and some friends actually bankrolled a trip for a Brazilian friend of ours, and we just had a hell of a time. It was so much fun.
Oh, that sounds so fun.
Yeah. So what are your favorite Toku songs to listen to?
Ooh, so this changes every now and again. Right now, I've been listening to Over the Times, which is the opening for Changerion. I've been really enjoying it's like Alive a Life Neo Ready Go Now or something like that from Rider Time, but it's like in the style of the original Alive a Life from Kamen Rider Ryuki, but it's like different lyrics and like a different thing, but it's in the same like production style. It sounds great. I really like it. Let me think, what else am I listening to? I've reconnected yet again with Kamen Rider Girls. Are you familiar with? I'm
familiar, but I haven't listened.
So they're like the younger sister group for Rider Chips, but they're like an idol unit for like Kamen Rider music. I was like, I've heard of them. I've heard some of their music. I've really enjoyed it, but I've been listening to them way more.
Did you see the big dump of Sentai music that hit streaming like, I want to say a week or two ago?
No, I haven't yet.
Yeah, if you go on Spotify or Apple Music, or I think YouTube too, they dumped pretty much everything going all the way back. I mean, all the way back. Like even the weird stuff like the English language versions of the themes they were doing for a few years, or the songs by cast members.
Ooh.
Like everything, like even the weird stuff.
I'm gonna have to dig into that after we
after
we finish.
It's out there, and that's kind of been what I've been jamming to lately, like really random and obscure Sentai songs. Yeah. So you've had a busy year. Talk a little bit about the tour.
So, oh my God, it's probably the hardest thing that I've ever done as like not just under like this project, but just in general as like an artist and a performer. Because it was completely self-funded, self-produced. All of those tour dates are things that like I applied to conventions for, or was something that like, say another person that oversees Idol Community was like, hey, I'm running a thing. I think this tour thing is really cool. Would you be willing to come out? Are you able to add this as a tour date on your thing? So that was really fun. But it's like, I've been making like these video diaries while I've been on tour that were like just sort of documenting where I was at, and the thought process behind it was like, it's something that like a year from now, 2 years from now, a couple of years from now, I can look back and see like, oh, this is what I was thinking during this. So like, I've learned honestly so much as like a performer, and so much like about myself as a person, and like so much about like managing myself, where I'm like falling into this weird place between like some like, you know, when like a hobby is being monetized, but it's like not in a negative way. So like it's kind of gone from being like a hobby or like a side thing that I did for fun, and now it's kind of something that like I had to think about for this entire tour, like the management stuff, and not just like the like money related stuff. It's like, all right, the logistics of getting myself from point A to point B. Am I running out of stuff for like the merch table? How do I conduct myself properly and professionally? And it's just been a lot of learning and growing from that. And I can like see myself, because I get videos back sometimes from like from these events. So like it'll either be like I set up my own camera, or someone else running the events sets up a camera, and I can see, because I started out at Puchikan AC, and I can see from the first tour date and the first video diary I made for Puchikan AC, and like I look uncomfortable in front of the camera, I'm not super confident on stage. And then I look at my footage from from Colossal Con East, and then I look at the video diary I made for Colossal Con East, and I'm way more comfortable in front of the camera, I'm way more comfortable on stage. My skill on stage has improved so much, and that's just from like going out there and doing it. And it makes me kind of excited to think like, what's next? And it was just to wrap up all of my thoughts about being on tour. It's just I don't think I'll ever regret going on tour ever, and I learned so much about myself basically on tour.
So what is next? I've seen suggestions of a secret project, maybe something you might be filming.
Ooh, perhaps.
It's a secret.
It's a secret-ish. I'll let you in on a little bit.
Okay.
So I've been kind of planning out the logistics for making like an actual music video for Guardian, because I'll have a lyric video out for it.
Yeah.
But there's like specific conditions that I want for filming the music video. Yeah.
So now, where can people find you?
So people can find me on Twitter at Bakery Sentai. People can find my Instagram at Ponranger. You can find my YouTube also at Bakery Sentai. And if you just want to find like all of my social media links where you can like find my merch or support me on Patreon, you can find that all on my website, ponranger.net.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
All right. Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome, everybody, to the Anime Lounge podcast. I'm Matt, one of your co-hosts. I discuss the differences between the manga and anime in Matt's Manga Mentions.
And I'm Lance, your other co-host. I walk you through Lance's lessons, where I teach you a Japanese word related to each and every episode.
Join us and immerse yourself as we explore the world of anime.
Don't forget to drop by the lounge every other week. Again, that's Anime Lounge Podcast.